So, hello, Neil. Neil Daly is the manager of a very successful active group in Facebook about the Atomaceous Earth, and he's very knowledgeable about this supplement and other supplements like borax, MSM, etc. And Neil has a very interesting story about a very fascinating healing journey that he has been through. So Neil, can you share how everything started for you?
Sure. So I had all these health issues, a lot of them. I had back problems, like discs were ruptured. I had things like this. I had fibromyalgia. I had rheumatoid arthritis. I had just so many maladies, TMJ.
Yeah,
I was constantly plagued with gout, depression, just a lot of issues, sinus, hay fever, allergies to some certain foods. My digestive system was a nightmare. It was really, really messed up. And I had all of these issues. And, all of these problems, it was so bad that I was getting ready to go out on disability. I was just so disabled. And I just kept praying, God help me, figure out what I can do about this. And
which modalities did you use? What did you do back then to help yourself?
So what I did was, it was really by accident. I wanted to find something to naturally worm my dogs and my cat, because I used to be a certified licensed pesticide applicator, an agent. And so I knew that I didn't want poison. I wanted to do this naturally. And I was looking for something to help me with that. And it just so happened that I found diatomaceous earth, food grade diatomaceous earth. And looking at that, I said, this will do the work for what I need. So I started giving this to them. I ordered it. I started giving it to them. And they got better really fast. I mean, really, really. I had one dog, she had mobility issues, really bad. And those went away. In a few weeks, they went away completely. She was like running around like a new puppy. I couldn't believe it. So I started reading testimonials about not only what this did for animals, what does this do for people? And in reading the testimonials of what this did for people, that blew me away. I said, you know what? This sounds so good. It sounds too good to be true, but I've got to try it because I'm desperate here. I'm really desperate. And so I went ahead and started using it. And in using it, literally within 2 weeks, I was a new human being. Within 2 weeks, at least half of the problems that I had, they just faded away. They faded off. Within a month, I couldn't believe where I was at in a month. And so, I just kept going. That was 14 years ago. In 14 years, okay, of actual use, I have probably spent, this is conservatively, over 200,000 hours in study about why silica, but more importantly, opal silica, which is what food grade diatomaceous earth is comprised of, mainly. And in studying this, because I wanted to know what it is that gave me my life back, what gave me my health back, what brought me from this point to another point altogether, where I was so unhealthy, and then suddenly all those health problems are gone, and I don't have them anymore. I had really bad kidney stones, let me tell you. It was horrible. And I couldn't get rid of them. But after taking diatomaceous earth, I noticed I don't have this problem anymore. Everything I noticed over time, it was quite subtle at first, but over time, everything just dropped off. I mean, everything.
So
I had
within
really-
2 weeks, you mentioned the 2 weeks that after you started taking it, what disappeared? What did you notice? For example, be more
I noticed,
specific.
okay, I noticed that the rheumatoid arthritis just disappeared. I mean, it's just gone. The burning in my joints and the burning in my hip constantly, the nonstop pain and the throbbing and the real inflammation, that was gone.
Can you say if the inflammation biomarkers in the blood test were also better? You know that there is all the segmentation rate of the blood and the CRP biomarkers that are very characteristic to autoimmune diseases. Did you check them before and
No.
after?
At this point in my life, I was done with doctors. I was done with tests. You know, they could not help me at all. They could just mask symptoms, and that wasn't doing it for me. It didn't help, and I didn't like that. I was tired of wasting my time with procedures, doctors, tests. I'd had enough. I said, you know, I can do this bad on my own. I don't need their help, you know, because they're not helping me. And I can do this bad just by myself, studying. But so anyway, I noticed all this inflammation that was in my body. You know, the fibromyalgia was a nightmare. You know, it was horrible. You know, I was doing a lot of stretching in order to understand where does the muscle hurt today? What muscle groups are in extreme pain today? And you can tell if you do stretches, you can tell which muscle groups are hurting you today. And it was like a musical, you know, it was like a musical change constantly over what muscle groups hurt today. They hurt differently the next day. They move around. The pains move around.
Right.
I mean, it was horrible. It was just terrible. You know, the pain, the soreness, the tenderness in the muscle, and all that disappeared. All of this disappeared.
Within 2 weeks.
Within 2 weeks, I just couldn't believe it. It just dropped off.
Or all the stiffness, all the bracing of the body, you know, the tightening, everything was vanished.
Yeah. There was this calm that came over my body. My entire digestive system felt completely brand new. Every joint in my body felt brand new. All the cracking and all of the mobility issues were gone. All of that was gone. I mean, there was just, there are so many issues that I had that disappeared. One of the biggest issues too was my back. My back had been an issue for quite some time. And it's as if I had back surgery and everything was rectified. I mean, the problems in the lower part of my back around my sacrum and the discs in my back felt like new. They felt amazing. The TMJ in my jaw was just gone. And just one by one, things just started dropping off. And I noticed that my cognitive function was better. Brain function was better. I started to notice that I was sleeping amazingly well, just amazingly well. I couldn't believe that one supplement could do that. I was shocked, you know, that one thing. And that's what forced me to have to study about it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to know, what is this that turned my life around? You know, all my sinus and allergies, just gone. My food sensitivities and my food allergies, gone.
Yeah.
And my constant headaches and migraines were really diminished, really diminished.
Unbelievable, yeah.
And
So,
then my fatigue was really gone. I realized later on that all the autoimmune problems that I was having actually stemmed from Lyme disease.
yes,
And so I noticed that all the Lyme problems went away. All the Lyme problems went away. Within a year of that time that I started, I also added in coffee enemas. I added in making colloidal silver, using that. And then I also added in Lugol's iodine solution and started using that as well. Because, over the next year, I started learning more about other natural healing modalities and utilizing those as well. To constantly get better as I age, rather than going downhill as
yeah.
you age, actually going up to a higher health existence. Because, I already knew what it was like to live the most unhealthy life. I wanted to see what it was like to live the most healthy life.
So do you remember a time back then in the dark times of being plagued with all these health issues? Do you remember a time that you hit rock bottom?
Well, I was at the bottom when I found and started using the diatomaceous earth. I was absolutely at the bottom. I was going into work every day hurting terribly. I could hardly straighten my back. I would get my back, would catch, and I would be hunched over. And it was everything I could do to get straightened back out. It was horrible.
It is like the body became braced and tightened and like there is a clenching sensation.
I can't tell you the amount of pain that I was in every single day. It was torture to go to work for 8 hours. It was torture. And it was grueling. It really was horrible. And all my friends saw me in that state. And they're like, this is horrible. And when I got better, they all saw that and they wanted to know what got me there. And I told them, diatomaceous earth, food grade diatomaceous earth. They all started getting on it. And they were feeling better and better and better as they went. I would find people who had the worst rheumatoid arthritis and mobility issues that could barely walk. I would give them a bag of it if they would take it and use it. I said, if you'll use this, it'll change your life. I'll give it to you. And I would give pounds of it away. People would use it and they would say, where has this stuff been all my life? This stuff is a miracle. This stuff is from God.
Neil, but can you say something? I want to talk with you later about the mechanism, the biological mechanism behind it, behind silica, and what it does to our body. But just to sum up your personal experience, did you? And I recall that you told me once that you also had Dupuytren, which straightened, which is unbelievable.
Dupuytren's contracture right here in this hand. And this hand is perfectly straight now, perfectly straight.
How was it before?
The Dupuytren's was right there and it was pulling this finger down. That finger used to look like that.
Right.
And it completely reversed that completely.
So no nodules anymore?
There's a teeny weeny little nodule about the size of a very small mustard seed right here. It's
so
right there.
What if someone already, because of the rheumatoid arthritis or other issues, have already created a deformity? What if the disease went too long and there are structural changes in his skeletal? Do you still believe that diatomaceous earth can be beneficial or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the diatomaceous earth will reverse that. It will reverse it. It just takes time. It took about 6 months for me. But I was using very high amounts of food grade diatomaceous earth. I'm talking 4 tablespoons a day.
Oh my God. It's a lot, and many people react to it with constipation or diarrhea. Not everyone is tolerating it.
Well, the constipation is only temporary within the first few weeks. Anyone that holds on will realize that was temporary. While the diatomaceous earth cleans out your intestines, because that's what it's doing, it's clearing out your intestines. A lot of people don't realize that their intestines are impacted with feces.
Right.
They have a lot of old material that is impacted in their bowels. The diatomaceous earth is going to cling to that, and it's going to pull it out little by little. It pulls it out, and that's where this constipation comes from. And it's only temporary. You only have about 31 feet of intestine. You know, be it small and large intestine, you only have about 31 feet of intestine.
Right.
And so it only takes as long as it takes to clear that 31 feet out. It's just that simple. It's not a long-standing thing. It comes and it goes. And that's it.
Many people react with headaches and heavy head when they start taking it. How do you explain it?
That is a part of the Herxheimer reaction, the Herxheimer reaction.
Yeah, the detox.
And that's the detox. That's the detoxification of the brain. See, what a lot of people don't realize is that opal silica, it will pass the blood-brain barrier. It's going to clear out the aluminum that's in your brain. It's going to clear out toxins that are in your brain. That's where the headaches come in. All that is detoxification. That's a healing reaction. You know, that is a part of die-off, and that's a part of actually regaining your health. You know, as the brain is detoxified, headaches happen. But
why diatomaceous earth and not bamboo shoots or take a supplement of silica, which is bioavailable? Why did you go to DE?
Okay, well, the simplest answer to that is the fact that, okay, zeolites, okay, bentonite clay, like you said, the bamboo, and then the
horsetail also.
The horsetail. Well, all of this, okay, is only 70% opal silica. That's it. The maximum it can be is 70% opal silica. Well, the thing is that the diatomaceous earth is 84 to 92% opal silica. And it's the cheapest and the best opal silica you can get that's bioavailable. And a lot of people, they don't realize that the food grade diatomaceous earth was plant-based, okay? Because we're talking about phytoplankton and algae. Those are plants. That's where this came from. And it's the highest in opal silica in the world.
So why opal silica and not just silica? Why do we need the opal form?
Okay, so the opal silica is different from the other silicas. There's many different varieties of silica. But the opal silica is what we are literally made of. It's what the human body is made of.
Oh.
If a person believes God's account, okay, of how he created mankind, he says, I formed man from the clay of the earth.
Right.
What does that clay contain? That clay contains 70% silica. Now, the silica that is within your plants, the silica that is taken up by all life forms is only opal silica. A lot of people don't realize that. It's only opal silica that is actually what they're looking for. There's different forms, but this is the form that animals, plants, and everything human uses. That's what sustains their life. If God set you up with silica to begin with, and it's the building material of your body, how much more do you need this substance in order to keep this body functioning as it should be? A lot of people never ask that question, but that is the question they need to ask. Just as much as you need water, just as much as you need food and you need oxygen, you have to have silica in order to be healthy. And this silica has to be opal silica.
So what is happening with aging in this context? What happens to us when we age?
So that's a very good question. So as we age, everyone knows that the silica in your body drops off. The older you get, after 50, your silica really starts to drop. And so as you age, you need more silica, not less, as you age. And so this is very well known in the studies and in all of the research that's been done, that we desperately need silica as we get older. And so we need to step it up, because your body has less and less. Therefore, we need to add more and more. Everything is a supplement. Think about that for a minute. Everything is a supplement. Water is a supplement. Food is a supplement.
Right.
Oxygen to your body, that's a supplement. And yet people say, I don't want to be on supplements for the rest of my life. Well, you've got to breathe. You have to drink water. You've got to eat food. If you don't, you're going to die. We have to supplement. The body doesn't make food. It doesn't make water. It doesn't make oxygen. You've got to put that in it in order for it to live, breathe, have its being.
So what is the biological mechanism of opal silica in our body? What is actually happening in the interplay between magnesium and calcium?
Okay. Well, so opal silica, what it does is when it is present in the body, it builds collagen. Okay, so you can't build collagen without silica. It helps to get the iron where it needs to be. It cleans up the blood. It actually reverses atherosclerosis, okay? Clears the arteries. It prevents hardening of the arteries. It actually makes the arteries pliable, okay? But at the same time, the calcium within your body, it can't function properly without silica in the body, because the silica is like a general contractor telling your calcium where it needs to go, what it needs to do. It gives it its marching orders and sends it out, to do what it has to do. Think of it as like a conductor in a symphony. That's what opal silica is. It conducts and manages everything within the body. Your brain can't function properly without silica. It's not going to happen. Every process within your body depends on silica to get it done. Everything. It depends on the silica for every joint in your body to build those joints. It's necessary. To build bone, it's necessary. Every process within your body depends on it. So if you don't have that present, or if you are really deficient in it, you're going to see all kinds of problems across the board in your health. You're going to see issues everywhere. And that's what proves that you are clearly deficient in silica, is all these health maladies. If you have enough silica in your body, parasites can't even exist in your body. They can't gain a foothold. They cannot live in your body because it's inhospitable. If you have enough silica within your body, cancer is hard to have. If there's enough silica within your body, it's hard to have cancer.
How is it related to cancer, to tumors?
I think it's because of the fact that it detoxes the body. If you detox the body, then that's one of the ways that you gain a foothold over silica, over cancer. The silica actually, I think, is a preventative.
Is it anti-inflammatory? Maybe
it's extremely anti-inflammatory. Extremely anti-inflammatory.
Is it more alkaline or more acidic?
It's very alkaline. It's extremely alkaline.
So maybe this is the explanation how it relates, because the predisposition to cancer is inflammation and fibrosis, which explains things like the Dupuytren and the stiffness. And then the next stage is unfortunately tumors. Can I ask you, Neil, how come that there are people, and I am reading many testimonials about the Atomaceous Earth in the group, but how come that there are some people there who testify that it didn't help them? So my question is, why does it help some people and it doesn't help others? What is your guess about it?
So that is something I've always wondered about myself. I have seen very few people that it doesn't help. I don't know why that is, unless they are already getting enough silica. And so they're not deficient in silica. To me, that's the only explanation, is why it doesn't help them, is because they're not silica deficient. That's the only thing that I can think of.
I see. So maybe they are not taking enough. This is what you're saying, or they are taking.
I'm saying that I think that they already have enough silica, so that's not the problem.
I see.
For them, that's not the problem. It's not deficiency for them.
But how can you measure it? How would you know if you are deficient or not deficient?
Me personally, I've been self-diagnosing since I was about 19 years old. I've been self-diagnosing. So I'm used to figuring out what's going on with my own body. You listen to your body and you figure it out. And this is not the norm. Most people, they go to a doctor to get a diagnosis. But if you know how to look at what's out there, the symptoms, you can diagnose yourself. And
so, because you mentioned before that silica is the conductor that tells any mineral where to go, especially to calcium. Have you seen problems like ossifications, like spurs and osteophytes dissolving after supplementing with opal silica?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have seen that completely reversed. I have seen it reversed many times. The bone spurs go away, bursitis go away, stuff like that. It's pretty normal to see that go away. It's amazing how that the opal silica brings the body back to homeostasis, which is what you want. You want homeostasis.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm having trouble with the camera, but never mind. Can I ask you also what would be your best advice to chronic pain sufferers or people with chronic disease issues?
Anybody with a chronic disease or issue, I always tell them, there's four things that I recommend more than anything. One is the food grade diatomaceous earth. Another is borax, which is 20 Multein borax. And then another is Lugol's iodine solution and colloidal silver.
I see. And what I meant is emotionally, when people are in despair and they are losing hope, and many times they are losing the will to live. What would you tell them now from after you have been in the other side, after you have passed the other side of the bridge?
I would tell them just hang on and trust me, if you keep trying, you're actually gonna overcome this. You know, if there's hope for me, there's hope for other people. That's really my story, is if there's hope for me, there's hope for you. If I can overcome all odds, you know, if I can overcome all these issues that I had, certainly you can overcome yours. You know, that's not going to be a problem. It may take you longer to figure it out, but you can figure it out. You can address it, and you can change your life. You can do it. You don't need a
Has your relationship with pain changed since?
Completely. Yeah, absolutely, completely changed.
If now you get up in the morning and something is aching, or God forbid, you will have an injury and it will start a new pain, how would you respond differently than back then?
I know that it's only transitory. It's only come to go. You know, it's just transitory pain, and it's temporary. It won't be around for long. All my muscle soreness and weakness disappeared. My depression disappeared. Anxiety gone. You know, things of this nature. You know, and I keep tweaking my health a little at a time. I keep adding different supplements that are very beneficial. So I'm not done making myself even better, because the journey continues.
Yeah, you're striving to optimize to optimal health.
Exactly. I've not rested because I use myself as a guinea pig to try different things that may be helpful to people that I talk to regularly, that I communicate with regularly. You wouldn't believe the amount of messages I get on Facebook Messenger every day from people that are desperate, that they need help. And I help them as many as humanly possible. I help as many as I can. And that takes many forms, you know, as I coach them to help them to get better, just little by little, one day at a time. You know, the main thing I tell people is don't overwhelm yourself. You know, don't get in a big hurry, and don't feel like you got to change so much so quickly. Take it easy. Take your time. You will get better. As long as you keep trying, you're going to get better.
What is the rationale behind this philosophy to take it slowly, to take it one step at a time? And because people in pain, they want a quick resolution. They want to resolve the pain. They want to stop it.
They're in a hurry, and I understand that. That's why I always start out food grade diatomaceous earth. That's my #1 recommendation. Then adding things as things drop off and you see what's left to deal with. Then I recommend things to deal with the little outliers, the little outlying issues that haven't been addressed yet. I begin to address those as you go along. And one by one, they drop off. But that's the way that I encourage people. And that's the way I take it. That's my advice.
No, any adverse effects, no any side effects. It can't do any harm. I mean, I read about leaky gut issues. I mean, it is, you can get really confused with all kinds of information.
It actually heals. It actually heals things like, okay, it heals like leaky gut. Because think about this, okay? The connective tissue of your body is made up of collagen. What makes collagen? Opal silica. Okay, so think about that. Leaky gut is actually fixed by silica. The opal silica fixes this because it's involved in the whole skin process. What's going to close up that skin? What's going to knit that skin back together? It's collagen. How do you get collagen? You get it from opal silica. I've seen people with colitis completely healed. Okay, people with Crohn's disease completely healed. Because of the fact that this is so anti-inflammatory, and it's so healing, and it's so healing for your entire digestive system, that all these maladies just disappear. They go away. People who said that they were cured from H. pylori using food-grade diatomaceous earth. I mean, and the list goes on and on. They had every kind of digestive issue you can imagine. They healed it with diatomaceous earth.
My question to you is, I mean, we are just more than one mineral. I love what you said about the phrase in Genesis that we are made from dirt, that God made us from dirt, and to dirt we will go eventually. But I mean, Dr. Caroline Dean is talking about the magnesium miracle, and what's his name? The guy with the borax issue. There are people who are praising the borax as the ultimate mineral for arthritis, which is true. So why do you think that silica is the master mineral and not magnesium, not boron?
Because of the fact that majority of your body is absolutely dependent upon it. Even your magnesium can't do anything without silica. Even the magnesium's worthless if you don't have silica to bring it not just into the body, but put it to good use. If you don't put it to good use, what good is it? You can take all the minerals you want, but if you don't have that master mineral that tells all the minerals what to do, where to go, and that actually optimizes their function, then it's all for nothing. You can take as many minerals as you want, but the master mineral that's going to balance out the rest is going to be opal silica. And if you don't have that, you're missing the key component.
I see.
Think about this for a minute. Okay, just one last thing. Think about this for a minute. We are made of at least 70% water.
Right.
Now, if you look at spring water, which is what man has subsisted on for the majority for all of history, okay? Spring water is loaded with silica, and it is opal silica, and it's loaded with it. How important is water to your body? Therefore, how important is silica to your body? Because think about it. We're mainly water, and water mainly consists of silica.
Water consists of silica?
Oh yeah. There's so much silica in water, it's unreal. But that's spring water, not municipal water. I'm talking about spring water.
Yeah. Which kind of water do you drink?
I drink spring water every day.
From
I
butter?
actually go out to a spring and bring home about 88 gallons every 3 months. I go collect my own spring water
Mhm.
and bring it home.
So what would be the optimal dose for diatomaceous earth?
It's different depending on the person and what type of deficiency that they have. I mean, some people are obviously more deficient than others. I've seen most of the people that have real serious health issues, a lot of them are using 8 tablespoons a day, 8 tablespoons of diatomaceous earth, and they space that out. With every meal, they divide that up. They'll quarter that up.
So there is also a question whether to take it on an empty stomach or to take it with food. What's your take on it?
Well, see, I've never understood this, but I've never seen an animal that will go out and eat diatomaceous earth unless it's in the food. And all your animals get good health from diatomaceous earth that's in the feed. Farmers knew about it long before everybody else did because they were already feeding it to their livestock to keep them healthy because vet bills are expensive. So to keep their livestock healthy, they were already adding the food grade diatomaceous earth to the feed
Ah,
every feeding. And so these animals have been eating it. Now, if an animal gets healthy from eating it with food, why don't we? And who on earth would tell you, let's keep this separate from food? If when you're eating, your body is designed to pull all those minerals out of that food and absorb that, okay? Why on earth would you take the greatest mineral supplement of all mankind and keep that separate from food?
I
When
understand.
you already know that the food is where the main absorption is going to come from. You realize that the hydrochloric acid, okay, in the digestive process is going to break that down, and then it's going to utilize it. It's going to make it bioavailable to your body. Why on earth would you sidestep that process? Why on earth would anyone recommend that? It makes no sense whatsoever. And my final point about this, let me drive this home. The reason why you have parasites feeding on your body is simply because there is food there. They're eating something, okay? So if the silica is not in your food, when they feed on the food that you're eating, how is it going to kill them? How will they come into contact with it? What's going to decimate their populace within your body? If you're keeping this silica separate from your food, and we already know they feed on the food, why would you do that? You have a prime opportunity to bait them into non-existence. You're baiting them with the food. Why would you not put it in the food so that you bait them into non-existence?
Yeah,
It makes
like a Trojan horse.
it makes no sense at all. It's so nonsensical. It's completely nonsensical. It makes no sense whatsoever. And why people would even say such a thing makes me think that they actually work for the pharmaceutical industry. They're coming into health groups. They know that people will be put off of this substance if it doesn't work. So what's the best thing they could do? Tell you, why don't you take it the most ineffective way possible, not get the results you need, and then you leave the group, you leave this alone, and you go back to the pharmaceuticals because you didn't get the help you were looking for.
So finally, do you feel that with aging, with time as the time goes by, do you feel your body, your skin more pliable, more supple, more
Oh
malleable?
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm 53 years old. everybody tells me I do not look like I'm 53 years old. I look younger. I credit the diatomaceous earth with all that. The lack of my hair really turning color, the lack of my hair really going real seriously gray, the lack of a lot of wrinkles in my skin. But yes, I am more pliable, much more flexible. Yeah, very, very flexible.
It's not a question of flexibility of muscles. It's something beyond that. It's
My skin health has never been better.
I think it is a lot about the fascia, about the connective tissue, as you mentioned, which is there. Most of the bracing in our body is done in the connective tissue, where we actually also lock our emotions.
Absolutely.
Last question. How would you advise people to cultivate a sense of safety as a vehicle to their healing? Now I'm not talking about matter to matter. Let's talk mind over matter a little bit. We know that calmness and a sense of expansion in the body, in the psyche, is contributing to the healing process. What is your, because you mentioned anxiety before, you mentioned depression before, and fibromyalgia is also going hand in hand with that.
I'll tell you this. In all my studies, I noticed that anxiety and depression, and a lot of these maladies are also connected to parasites, to parasitic infection. And so a lot of the times, the depression and the anxiety is actually coming from the parasites. And when you eliminate them, you eliminate that problem as well. I mean, I could talk about opal silica for, so many hours. And I could go over all of the things I've learned about it, which, you got to understand, why would anyone spend over 200,000 hours studying something if there wasn't something there? There's something there. And a lot of people, they don't stop to think about that. There's only one other thing that I have that form of devotion to, and that's God himself. Only God himself am I more devoted to than this. So you got to ask, why would a person be so devoted to this? And that's the answer. I've seen it revolutionize people's health, not just my own, but to watch it revolutionize other people's health, to see someone who was just on their last hope. They were looking for the last hope that they could find.
Right.
They found food grade diatomaceous earth, and it changed their life.
And is it necessary to take it consistently, or can you start and start and stop?
Well, the answer to that is, well, can you stop drinking water, and can you stop eating food? For a short while, maybe, but you don't want to make a habit of it. But it's like saying, well, should I stop breathing?
Yeah.
I should hope not. You need the oxygen.
I ask because many people are feeling more comfortable with consuming horsetail because it's a herb. The psychological idea of, psychologically, the idea of eating earth is, they cringe just about the thought of it.
But see, the thing is it's not earth. It's not really earth. They call it earth because it comes from the earth. But the bottom line is, all it is it's the fossilized remains of diatoms. That's all it is. It's a mineral deposit is all that it is. And every mineral, by the way, that you need is in there for the most part. there's boron in it. There's magnesium in it. There's potassium in it. There's calcium in it. There are over 19 other minerals in there that people don't realize. All that's in there. It's all in trace amounts, but it's in there.
So, in the last years, there was a Canadian company, Black Oxygen, if you have heard about.
Very familiar with them.
And they take from Earth the fulvic and humic acid, and
But that comes from a bog. That comes from a bog, and everybody knows that they used bogs as like a graveyard years ago. There were a lot of not just people in there and animal bodies, but that's a nasty place to get some earth from. And not just that, the one in Canada was actually situated right next to a waste dump. Right next to it. The waste dump actually empties into the bog. A lot of people didn't know that. And that's why Black Oxygen Organics is a thing of the past now.
Yeah, it is now, but many people testify that it helped them.
The humeric and fulvic acids do help. I take them though in the traditional sense, in the traditional supplement, which is in Shilajit. Shilajit, I actually take Shilajit every day. But my Shilajit comes from Siberia, the Siberian mountains.
Yeah.
I'm never without it because it's quite good.
So the Shilajit and the Black Oxygen are totally different.
Totally different. Totally different. The original fulvic and humeric acid is Shilajit. It's been used for thousands of years. It's very well known. There are no negatives to Shilajit. Unlike what's coming out of a bog, that is not the same thing.
So maybe
you won't.
I don't know anything about what happened there. I know they have closed their company or closed something. They didn't let them go on, but maybe the fulvic acid and humic acid that were present in that product helped the people, because I personally know people with arthritis who healed with that.
Well, if you look at under chemical analysis, as far as the BOO, there was a lot of heavy metals in there, a lot of lead, a lot of arsenic, which is never good. And it was well over the limits, well over the limits. If you took it as directed, it was way over the limit. That's another problem that did plague them, was all of the heavy metals.
Yeah.
You're not going to find that in Shilajit at all.
So Shilajit is more pure, is the origin of fulvic and
it's extremely pure. It's extremely pure. It comes from the mountains, not the bog.
Is it like mumio? I think in Russia they call it.
Yes, it's exactly the same thing. Yep. It's the same exact thing. And I prefer, a lot of people like the Himalayan variety, but I prefer the Siberian variety myself.
Neil, last question. Do you believe that everything is possible? Every disease can be cured?
Absolutely. God says so in his word, but at the same time, God does say that the sick you'll always have. And there's a reason for that. Not everybody is aware of the truth. Not everybody's aware of what they need for their body. They're not aware, of what's out there, and I'm trying to educate people, so that they can help themselves. Take your health into your own hands. And at the same time, we also know that what a person believes is either to their detriment or to their health. Because God also says in his word, as you believe, so are you. As you speak, so are you. You know.
So, but what if a person has doubt? So, you know, sometimes doubting is a very spiritual, in a paradoxical way. It can be a spiritual thing to doubt, like you were asking, you were doubting the doctors, the medication, the pharma industry. But the issue with belief is interesting to me. How would you advise someone to change his belief if he's a doubter by nature, skeptical? How would you help him recruit his ability to believe to his own good?
Well, God says in his word that repetition, the repetition of reading, something like Proverbs, where you're reading things that are only going to reinforce proper, right thinking, as opposed to the negative. See, within the mind, a lot of people, they keep going around on the negative train, and they have this circular cycle of thinking. Okay, and that's just a rut. That's a mental rut. And what you can do is inject a little bit of change every day, just a little bit, inject a little more change every day into that thinking process. And you decide, I've been going in that direction, and now I'm going to go in this direction. Each day you decide, I'm going to change the direction of my life, and I'm going to inject a little bit of change every day until I'm a better thinking person. Because nothing was built in a day. Nothing was built in a day.
That's right.
So let's work on this as a daily remind yourself the direction you want to go in.
Are you still working on this?
What's that?
Are you still working on your mind? Are you still doing this mind work, like inject?
Sure, because you can reprogram your mind. You do not have to stay the course that you've been on your whole life. You can change that. And it just takes baby steps in the proper direction every day. Just take a tiny little step in the right direction every day. And you literally will be a whole other area in just a short period of time. If you journal at all, I like to journal. If you journal, if you write these things down, you'll notice your mindset changes over time. If you just inject a little change each day, your mindset will completely change. And in a year's time, you'll find yourself in a whole new mind space. And it's a spiritual thing too. You'll find yourself in another spiritual state. If you're thankful, the biggest thing is to be thankful every single day. God says, give thanks in all things, in all things. And, he knows what he's talking about, because he understands the things we don't see. And he says to be thankful, give thanks in all things every day. Mm-hmm. And, that's one of the biggest things that I've really learned in recent years is to truly be thankful. Be thankful, regardless of what situation you find yourself in, be thankful. Because if you're thankful, this can change everything for you, but you have to decide on that.
And the meek shall inherit earth. So Neil, thank you so much. I think it's a good place to wrap. Very inspiring story, your own one. And thank you for educating us about DE. God bless you.
God bless you. And listen, if you need to talk to me again,